Hello, and welcome to the newest episode of Blue Collar Racing Podcast. We have a good buddy of mine and a fellow racer, Drew Carter.
Hey, Drew Carter. I got a 98.5 VP truck that I race 670 index racing with. Trying to go against the odds and get the little VP into a faster index racing. Normally a lot of people run like a 770, but we're trying to go faster and faster each pass. So starting at 670 and hopefully get down to 590 with Chris Parker and those guys.
Yeah, the VPs are fun. I was playing around in 670 with you and definitely in 770, and then finally my VP went out and I made the switch to go P-pump, but I still have a soft spot for the VPs. I want to see you guys get fast.
Yeah, I won't hold it against you that you're switching sides.
Yeah, I definitely want to. I knew for sure I want to try to get into like the 590 stuff, so I just know it's gonna be a lot easier, and I won't be fuel and RPM limited with the P pump as bad.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem with the VP is fuel and RPM limit is just it won't fuel past that. I think it's like 3,300 range. It just won't fuel past it, even though they say it will. All the dynos have shown that it just drops off. That's where peak power is for it.
Yeah, and you gotta cram so much power in from realistically 2,500 RPMs to 32.
Yeah.
That's your sweet spot, and that's just a short window.
Yeah, that's the problem. But, hey, I wish you the best with the P-pump, and hopefully you can get it back together and get out there with us because it's not fun when you're not racing.
No, it was a very interesting truck wars spring when you show up without a truck at all, and you're just kind of going around helping people, watching the event. It was relaxing, but at the same time, I wanted to be out on the track.
Yeah. No, I agree 100% with you. Been there, done that, seen.
It was a great event. I mean, I love going to it. Even without a truck, it was still fun. It's a lot more fun when you can be on the track.
Yeah. I think, what was it, last year in the fall? Yeah. I went down there and had a timing case oil leak, and I only made one pass and then loaded the truck up, and it was weird walking around, looking at everyone's vehicles and then helping and watching, pulling parts off of my truck to help other people and stuff like that. And it's like, whoa, this is a different side of it that I never see because I'm normally in the truck making passes, not kind of sitting there with a grill, cooking hot dogs and cheeseburgers and just kind of sitting around.
Yeah, it's definitely different. So what all have you done to the VP truck? What's your future stuff do to it? Give us kind of a rundown.
So it's a 90.5 build, VP Shide Stage 2 pump. I got a custom set of injectors that I paired up with diesel auto power with. I've been doing some testing on their injectors, and I mean their process from building the injector to the performance of the injector is just phenomenal. It's gotten really good reviews. I've had great data with it. Run a Crazy Carl's Turbos compound kit. Like I said, I'm all about supporting companies that have a good quality product and also customer service is there too. I know with Crazy Carl's Turbos kit, it's over-under kit, so it's not a side-by-side kit, so you can't run a hood stack. I had to modify the firewall to run a hood stack, so it's different, of course, for the race truck build, but I mean, I've never had a problem with it. It's a quality build, and I partnered up with Quadzilla for the programmer, and the custom tuning has just been phenomenal. I've been able to go into the truck and slow it down if I want to run 770. I can speed it back up within a matter of seconds to run 670, stuff like that. It's been been pretty great for me. No hatred against any other programmers. The Quadzilla is what worked for me, and we're going to stick with it and keep going and push it all the way until it can't fuel the truck anymore.
Nice. What size turbos are you running on that?
So we're running a 363 on the manifold, and we are running a 480 on the bottom. We were running a 362 with a 475 and an SO pump, and we were making, I don't know, close to 700 horsepower on it, 600 to 700 horsepower on it, and running low 7-second passes and competing. So, but we want to go faster, of course, and with that, you need more fuel, more air. So we had to go ahead and turn it up more.
Yeah, and that's a good size in them turbos. I ran a setup almost like that and had no problems with it. What are your future goals with it besides just getting to 590? Do you have any, as far as like the actual build, what's your future stuff you want to do to the truck?
So we just went to a coilover suspension in the rear. We had at Diesel Truck Wars in the spring. We snapped the input shaft at the 330 mark, and so the biggest problem we had was tire hop. So I couldn't launch the truck as hard as I wanted to, and at random spots in the track, every once in a while, we'd get wheel hop. So I talked to some people on the forums and stuff like that, and they told me that, hey, look, I see the problem is the truck, the rear suspension is just shot, it looks like. So, of course, when I took the shocks off the rear, they were completely shot. So, of course, we went to a coilover set up in the rear, changed out everything in the front, just all brand new parts. That way it would be stiffer and also have a better suspension in the front, too, to go with the new rear suspension. Right now we're doing remote radiator in the rear. We also have a on-3 intercooler that's going to be going up in the front. So we'll be able to get rid of most of the stuff that's in the front of the motor, get rid of the fan, go into electric water pump, relocating the alternator to the bottom right with a new water coolant neck that has AM fittings on it. And then we'll be able to put the rest of the fiberglass on the truck, which should lighten the truck up a really good amount. And then it'll be ready to start just knocking off some numbers and going faster and faster. After we get our fuel only number and we're satisfied with it, I think we'll start introducing nitrous. We have nitrous. I haven't gotten a solid fuel only number. So until then, I kind of want to hold off on the nitrous and then keep going with it.
Yeah. And nitrous can be tricky, especially when you're trying to get data in the beginning. You want to try to get your fuel only numbers, and then you can really tune in nitrous after that.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% with you, because if you there's too many variables, and I've noticed that, like, until you get a solid pass down and it's fuel only, then you can say, okay, look, I've maxed out that number. Now I can start introducing nitrous at certain points, certain times, and stuff like that. If you just kind of go out there and throw everything at it, you don't know really what worked.
Yeah. And I got nitrous on my truck. The only time I've ever used it was a couple events I've been to that were up in the mountains. It was super hot outside. I just used it to help spool wet the line. And I never touched nitrous the whole track. I just used it for spooling, and that was it. Just because I was doing the same thing you are, trying to get numbers figured out. And now I'm pretty much going to be starting all over. I'm totally switching all my fuel system. So I have to relearn everything.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be a fun learning experience for you.
Yeah, it's going to basically starting back at zero with the whole engine fuel learning curve.
I wish the best for you, man. That's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah, but it should help in the long run. I feel like I'll be happy with it, so I'm just gonna give it a try. So index racing, what are tips and tricks and stuff you can tell listeners about index racing?
Phew, man, index racing, that's my soft spot. Locally we have a lot of bracket racing, which I I tend to stay away from it because there's too much going on at the line where you have a guy that's handicapped, so they leave way behind you. So you're trying not to go, but you have the truck spooled up, and you're sitting at the line waiting. And where index racing, it's at the same time, and you both are shooting for a certain number. Of course, if you go under that number, you're out. So some of the hard times is you go against a guy, and I know I've seen it at Diesel Truck Wars multiple times, and you're way out ahead of him, and then you start thinking to yourself, am I running faster than 670? Did I accidentally put too much of a tune-up in it? Did it launch way too good, and now I'm about to break out? So then, of course, you're trying to figure out if you should slow down and then chance them flying past you or what it is. But I think the best thing for index racing is get yourself dialed in, and once you know what your times are and you can get as close as you can to that index number, I think you're solid. And then it's just figuring out the tree. I know that's the biggest problem I have, especially racing ET and index at Diesel Truck Wars, is you're going from a pro tree to a sportsman, and it's back and forth, and you're like, oh, well, one goes yellow, 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 green, and the other one goes all three yellows and then green, and you're like, oh, shoot, I was supposed to go. And I know in qualifying every year I look at it and I'm like, oh, wow, I cut a 0.5, and which is horrible on the reaction time because I wasn't paying attention to the tree because the pass before I was running ET bracket or something.
Yeah, it's always a difficulty when you are switching trees like that, just getting used to it. And the biggest thing I've noticed in index racing, like for me, how I try to do it is I try not to worry about the guy next to me. I try to just basically race myself once I have my dial in and just race to the line. Try not to worry about the guy next to me because that can actually mess you up more because some guys leave the line softer and they do the back half of the track and they have crazy speed at the back, especially the common rail guys and stuff like that. The VPs, the trick for us is have a good 60 foot and a 330.
Yep.
You gotta kind of race yourself and not worry about the guy next to you as much. Still have to pay attention to it because if you have him by 4 truck lengths, you're either going way too fast or he had some kind of issues back at the line, and then you gotta keep from breaking out.
Yeah.
It's really learning the truck, learning what feels like a real good hook off the line, and learning what, okay, that wasn't that great off the line. I gotta stay in it the whole time.
Yeah. There's been multiple times where I've launched and I said, oh wow, this is gonna be a 7-second pass. And I just kept in it the whole time, and I crossed the line, and what I know, it's a 677 or 682 or something like that. And I'm like, wow, because the truck made up on the back half, which was weird to me because I've never seen it before on my truck at least. And it's crazy though because you gotta look at it to where, oh wow, am I gonna break out? Because if you beat yourself, then you're toast. It doesn't matter if that guy ran a 7-second pass, but because you ran 669, you're out.
Yeah. It's definitely tricky, especially when you get in towards closer to the finals and you got some of the guys that they have a 670 truck. They build a 670 truck. That's all they run. They go to events everywhere. They run 670. That's all they do. And those guys are good. You definitely gotta watch out for them, especially like the guys from Fire Punk and stuff. They have some really dialed in trucks.
Yeah, no, 100% with you.
So what got you into racing?
So when I was overseas, I wanted to build a VP truck. That's what I had. I wanted to build it. This is back in 2014, 2015. I wanted to have a truck that I could go to the track, have, I don't know, 700 horsepower, and just have fun with it. Ride around, enjoy it, and stuff like that. But at the same time, be able to take it to work and drive home and not have a problem with it. Come to find out, doing that with a VP truck is not ideal. Possibly a common rail, but not a VP truck. So then it got into the point where one year my wife and I decided after we got married to go to Diesel Truck Wars. Went down there, raced, had fun, came home. I said, you know what, I think I want to start getting better at this. Let's improve the program that I want to have. And I went down there and saw a lot of fast trucks. I want to see what I can do to go faster. So of course we changed the turbos and changed this and that and got a little bit quicker. And of course then it was, well, now we got slicks. Let's go ahead, and we got down to mid sevens. And I was like, you know what, let's gut the truck and see what else we can do. And after gutting the truck, that was when we got down to, it was like 690. And that's when I made the full commitment that, okay, now it's going to be a drag truck. Gutted it the rest of the way, changed the manifold charger, and went up with everything that we could, increased fuel, started changing, went to a different wheel and tire combo, also went to lightweight brakes in the rear from Innovative Machining Solutions. Then I did their front kit, and now once we get this suspension figured out, I think that's been our worst problem because our 60 foots are slower than they've ever been, but we're still running 670. So, I believe it's going to be, once I can get the truck to launch like it should, we'll be right back in the game. We're shooting for like a 650, 660 on fuel only before we start changing anything.
Nice. Yeah, the jump from 770 to 670, 770 you can do it pretty much stock suspension, a little bit of work. You can get into 770 and be consistent. When you start getting 670, that's definitely suspension plays a big part into it. Because you can make the power, it's just keeping the power planted down.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem. And I know that I've learned that, yes, you can increase all of your power all day long, but if you don't increase the suspension setup, routine maintenance, I know, like I went to go pull the wheels off, and I was like, man, I think the ball joints feel a little loose. And what do you know, the ball joints are a little loose, so we put all new ball joints on the truck. And that's things that you forget about, where you're thinking, oh, I want to go faster. Okay, well, let's put more fuel and more air on it. Okay. Oh, well, I never thought about changing the suspension so I can launch it right. That's another problem. You got to have the suspension to actually take the launch right.
Yes. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit. You said about being overseas. What did you do, and what do you do for a career that makes it able for you to do this kind of stuff?
So I was in the military, but then I became a contractor, went overseas, did a little bit of work overseas, and then now I do the same thing I was doing in the military. I'm a loadmaster, and I'm able to deliver cargo all over the world. So that helps pay the bills, and then also a little bit of money to fund the racing and stuff like that. I know a lot of our stuff is, we try to do it on a budget. So it's, other people are going out there and buying massive turbos and this and that. And here we are, we're like, we're going to try to make it work with this. And we'll max out what we can with fuel. And then we'll increase the fuel, not just jump into it head first and figure out what doesn't work after spending all the money.
Yeah. And you have built most of your truck yourself, correct?
Yeah, so I had it the first time I was gone when I was overseas. I had it built by a shop that's local, and then I just went ahead and decided that I want to start doing it myself. So I basically have redone everything on the truck minus the traction bars. I think that's the only thing left that was done originally. Other than that, I've redone everything. Of course, I don't build my transmission. And of course, the motor went to the machine shop when I had it built this time because I cracked the block a few years ago when I was racing locally. But I mean, other than that, everything's been done either by me or my buddy that I have that helps me work on the truck.
Nice. I always like seeing guys that build their truck to self. It's a lot more pride in it, and you just know the truck better. And if you ever have a problem at the track, you know where to pinpoint stuff better when you built the truck yourself.
Exactly. Like for instance, I was gone for work, and my crew chief is what I like to call him. He came over and installed our new shifter, so we could go ahead and get rid of the shifter that's on the column. We're not full manual valve body. We use an eater, but we're able to use that shifter to be able to, of course, put it in drive, park, and everything. But he came over on his free time, fabbed up the brackets and everything like that, and made sure it was all ran. So that way, when we do have a problem, I know where to go looking, and he can too. And that's been the biggest thing. If there's something wrong with the truck, we both can go looking at it and know, hey, okay, we've already done this and this, so we know that's not wrong, so let's go to this next and try that.
Yeah. What's your favorite event to race at?
Oh, hands down, it's always going to be Diesel Truck Wars. Between Chris and Buddy putting on an awesome show, an event, every time we go down there, we meet someone new and make friends with somebody else. I mean, shoot, our first year there, we met you guys, became friends with you guys. Then I think we made some more friends, Jason Brickhouse, Hunter Coffee. That's been a good friendship there too. Hunter and I have raced local events together, Diesel Truck Wars, and actually, believe it or not, I met Hunter in the parking lot at the Marriott. We were outside getting ready to go to the track because that's where we stay, and he's out there looking at the truck, and him and his brother and his dad, and we're just talking, and his buddies, and it turned into an actual good relationship to where he comes to Del Mar to race the All Truck Challenge, and we end up hanging out, did some pulled pork from the smoker and stuff like that. So it's awesome. Became good friends with Chris Parker, Buddy Calloway, and all those guys. It's more than just an event at Diesel Truck Wars. It's fun because you go there. My wife cooks pancakes and bacon and sausage, and people stop by and, can I get a pancake? Yeah, no problem. So then everyone knows my wife as the pancake lady, and then it turns into we start racing and people start coming up, and of course we had shirts made, and then people, oh, can I get a shirt? Yeah, no problem. Here you go. Here's a shirt, and everyone's wearing the shirt now. So then now you're seeing your truck all over the event kind of thing, which is cool. But I think most importantly is you become friends with a lot of people to where you can say, hey, man, I got a picture of your truck, and then you're sending it to them, and then that next night they're, man, I can't believe we both made it into the semifinals or stuff like that. That's where it really comes down to it. And you're like, man, that was awesome. That was a blast. I had a fun time, and not only did I get to race, but I got to hang out with my friends, which was fun. And, of course, we live 4 hours away, so it's not like it's right down the road, so I don't see those guys except for 2 to 3 times a year.
Yeah, and Truck Wars is also my favorite event for the same reasons. Like, for the past 2 years, you and me pretty much parked side by side.
Yeah, every single year.
Yeah, we're always together at Truck Wars. So it's always a good time seeing everybody. And just like you were saying, you see him a couple times a year. That's when I see you a couple times a year, is at Truck Wars. And it's always a good time there.
Yeah,
What's your
100%.
memorable racing moment?
Man, there's a lot to choose from, but at the same time, I don't know. I think it's either Trent Owens and I in the finals of ET, where that was just a fun night. I think it ended at like, I want to say our last race was at like 11:50 at night, and I mean that's been fun. I just there's too many. I've been side by side with friends at Diesel, of course, at Diesel Truck Wars. You're side by side racing down the track. I got a video of Matt and I. He's in his 6.7 build, and we literally, I think he beat me by .003 or something like that. I mean, we were side by side the entire track, and I got a GoPro 360, so I was able to turn it to the side, and you see we're literally door to door the entire track. I want to say most of it's just probably just racing buddies at Diesel Truck Wars, because that's where it's fun. It's your friends, but then as soon as you get on the line, it's all right. Well, I got to win, so I'll be friends with you as soon as we cross the finish line, kind of thing.
Exactly. And that is the great part about Truck Wars. And you want to win, you want to beat the guy next to you, but if you lose to him, then you're rooting for him the rest of the night. You want to see him.
That's how it was at All Truck Challenge with the Dyno Camp. Hunter Coffey and I we were in the Dyno Camp together, and I think there was 7 or 8 of us in there, and it's all older trucks, and Hunter and I partnered up, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll see you in the finals. So of course we try to stay away from each other. We get in the finals together, and that turns into, okay, well, now we're gonna race each other in the finals. And the one we ran, I got a clean hit. I won that round, and then the second finals that they did, because there was like a bracket racing and then an all out, I ended up red lighting, and I told Hunter, I'm like, man, this is fun. We were racing together in the finals. We had a blast. We beat everyone else. It was like we were teamed up together. It was awesome. So, I mean, it's hard to pick one memory, but it's just a lot of memories with friends. It's not me out there winning. Oh, I won the championship. Oh my gosh. No, I get to race buddies and have fun, and then afterwards we're friends again, kind of thing. It's like on the track we're competitors, and then as soon as we get off, it's, oh man, can you believe you got me at the light, kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. When you make the friendships you do, and you go around racing, what might be local to them may not be local to you, but you'll go down there to that race just because they told you about how awesome it is to go to that event. I know I went up to Pennsylvania and raced with my buddies up there because they were, hey, this event's awesome, you should come up. Normally I wouldn't have went up there for it. I made the one-day trip up there just to race that event with the buddies I have up there. And they do the same thing on Truck Wars to race the event. It's just always nice when you're making the friendships, racing your friends, and just having a good time with it.
Oh, 100%, I agree.
What upcoming events are you guys going to be going to this year, next year? Any big events? Anything you guys got on schedule?
Yeah, so at the end of July, we have Rocky Top in Tennessee that we're going to. I think it's in Crossville, if I'm 100% right.
Yeah.
So we'll go there. We're going to go see some friends, also do some stuff to the truck and race some ODSS 670 racing. Maybe do some grudge racing if there's time or something like that. Then we have Diesel Truck Wars in the fall, which is always a great event. I don't know if I like spring or fall more. I think spring is you haven't raced all winter, so then you come out and you're like, oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be nervous. I hope the truck doesn't break. I hope everything's okay. And then fall, I feel like well, that was a long season of racing. I can't wait to get this one over, but it's nice and cool and can hang out with everyone. Then we have All Truck Challenge / Dyno Camp, which is in Del Mar, Delaware. It's my local track to me, so go down there. I'm going to compete in it. I don't know if I'll do the sled pulling this year or not because the truck's it's not set up for it, and I really don't want to convert a full drag truck over to a sled pulling truck too. It's just, to me, it's not worth it because I would only do it once a year kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then that's, other than a couple local things, as far as Cecil County Dragway and Del Mar Dragway, that's all I really got for this year. We're kind of behind the curve because we did, of course, break the transmission and stuff like that. But those are the 3 events that we're going to hit hard this year, just because there's no – I feel like Rudy's always has a bad problem with weather. So for us, it's such a long drive. And then there's another one that's new. It's down in North Carolina. I think it's I can't remember the name of it, but it's an 8-hour drive for us. So it's a lot of driving. I mean, Rocky Top is 10.5 hours from us, and it's long drive. I think it's 3 tanks of fuel there, 3 tanks of fuel back, something like that. So of course, not only the long time, it's also a lot of fuel money too, not including hotels.
Yeah, by the time you get hotels and fuel costs and just the wear and tear on the tow rig and the trailer, it adds up quick.
Yeah, yep, it does, and that's the problem, of course. And then you don't want anything to happen while you're on that long ride too.
Yeah, especially if you start having any kind of blowouts on the trailer or truck, it starts becoming a lot really fast when that starts happening.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. Couldn't agree more with you on that one.
That's why I like Truck Wars, especially they do 2 events. They're only about 2 hours away from me. I always put those 2 events in my schedule. And what is it, about 4 or 5 hours for you?
Yeah. Yep. Just with both kids having to stop and everything like that, do bathroom breaks, and of course we fuel up before we go over the Bay Bridge Tunnel. I want to say it comes out to like 4 hours and 30 minutes.
That's not too bad.
No, it's not horrible at all. And plus, like I said, we've turned it into a family event. So we normally come down Friday morning, go to the movie theaters right there in Elizabeth City, grab dinner with friends and if any family comes, and then we'll stop over and see Trent and Nate over at Melton Pistons and hang out with them for the night, see what they're doing last minute, because they always have something last minute that they're doing. It's never ending in the diesel industry. And then Saturday we race, Sunday we come home.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing I want to try to get better at is not being last minute the night before working on the truck. I want to try to get better at being ready.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. Every time I think that I'm ready, that's when in the fall of last year, when we went down there, I was like, oh, I was ready a week before. All I did was an oil change, and that's it. Did a couple test hits, and then, of course, we get down there and go to make the first pass, and it puts oil down, and I'm like, no. And, of course, I tried everything I could to seal it, but it just wouldn't hold without putting a new gasket on it. So, of course, we loaded the truck up, and then we just stayed there and watched racing. And, I mean, that was from 3 o'clock till, I think we left at like 9 p.m., so we sat there for 6 hours watching.
Yeah, because I remember you came over to me and asked if I had any gaskets or anything, and I didn't. I'm not going to lie. Ever since then, I actually keep a front main seal and a timing cover gasket with me now.
Yeah. Now that
Something
done all the truck.
It's something cheap that you can have with you, but if it goes out when you're at the track, it ruins your whole day.
Yeah, and especially being so far from home, that's the problem I had. Was we were so far from home, and I know I had a guy come to me last year asking if I had an extra turbo boot, and I didn't. And it was the first year that I didn't bring an extra one. Normally I have one of each. That way if something happens, I have one, and it's just a spare that I've had. But of course I was like, no, I didn't bring it this time, and I don't know why. And he's like, I think he ended up making a seal, like he put it around the boot, and it was like I don't know if it was a natural light can that they cut up, or I know it was a beer can, but I didn't know how they got it to work. But somehow it held, and they let him make passes and rounds.
Sometimes you gotta just come up with stuff and hope it works.
Yeah, nope, couldn't agree with you more on that one.
I know it was probably about 2 years ago, another buddy of mine was racing. He was racing his daily driver in like ET, and he blew a boot, and it was one of those stock second gen boots that are the weird sizes.
Yeah.
I ended up making boots out of, I had like a cast aluminum elbow, 2 different size boots. I wrapped a bunch of electrical tape around it to make up for the size difference, and just put like 4 clamps on it. And we put it on his truck, and sure enough, it got him home from the event. Because he drove the truck there. It got him home from the event. He was able to go get another boot the next day. It worked. I didn't know if it would work, but it did. But sometimes
as long as it works, right?
Yeah, if it works, it's good. You just gotta try.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that 100%.
So, how important is it to you to use quality parts?
So, I actually was just in Salt Lake City for work, and I went over and visited Diesel Auto Power in Quadzilla, and that's where I realized that like quality injectors, I saw the entire process they have from when a core comes in to when they go ahead and clean the bodies. Acid dip everything. Like they go through everything and make sure you get a quality product. Of course, you can buy brand new Bosch bodies, but their rebuilds are just phenomenal. They go through and check every little piece. They pressure test them multiple times. They give you a readout of what they are. It's you see it all, and it's great. Now I look at other people that buy just injectors from random sites or stuff like that, and I'm like, yeah, but did that work really go into it? That went into these? Like, and of course they're not expensive either. It's a good quality brand for a lower price that you can get injectors, and then for competitors you might be able to buy one set of injectors, where these Auto Power you can buy a set of injectors and tubes, springs, push rods. Like you can buy a couple of things with it to support it. Same with Crazy Carl's Turbos kits. A big thing that I push on everyone is it's a quality product, and that's why I like running it. That's why I'm behind it. That's why I push it. I tell everyone when someone comments on Facebook, hey, what kind of compound kit do you recommend? Crazy Carl's Turbos. It's affordable. Carl TIG welds everything. It's clean, and then it works. You don't have to worry about your battery getting taken out. You just, it's an over-under kit. You just have to clock the turbos, make sure they fit right, and that's it. I've never had a problem. I've taken my kit off a million times. One day I messaged them. I said, hey, when I went to a 480, I was like, something's wrong. Like it doesn't fit now. And of course I didn't realize all I had to do was loosen up the V-band, turn the compressor housing half an inch, and then everything matched up perfect again. And that was just because I was rushing and didn't follow my own advice of, hey, clock the turbo and it'll work. And of course, what I do, clock the turbo and it works. Then you don't have to cut anything or change anything. It all works, and it's a really good product. And when you have quality products, everything goes smoother on your truck instead of throwing some eBay stuff on it or some backyard builder. You're throwing something on it and then it doesn't match up, doesn't line up, and now you got leaks, or there's just a lot of factors that run into quality products that you want. I mean, you know as well as I do, a good set of injectors can save your engine from dropping the nozzle, dropping this, getting debris in here, stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. And I've also noticed with quality injectors, if you get them from a good company, just like what I'm going through doing my P-pump swap. My injectors are Ducky Fuel. They were made for a VP truck. I took them out, contacted Chris at Ducky. He said, send them back to me. He's switching them over for the P-pump stuff. I'm not going out and buying a new set of injectors. He's doing what I need to him, sending them back to me. I had a problem. I had a injector hold down break on me a few years back. Injector bounced around in the top of the motor and got messed up. Sent it back to him. He fixed it, sent it back to me. You buy injectors off of eBay or something like that, you're not going to have that customer support. They're not going to go in and they're not going to take them back. They're just going to tell you you can buy a new set.
Yeah, 100% agree with you on that one. A lot of people are just going to say, oh, well, spend the next $600 or $500, whatever you spent, and then now you're back in the hole again. Now you got a set of injectors that you're trying to put on Facebook for sale because you need to make your money back.
Yeah, and even with Ducky, like if I want to change, if I don't like the nozzles I'm running, I don't like the sizing, I want to change up, all I got to do is send it back to him. He'll switch everything over for me, send them back to me, and I'm not sitting here with 4 sets of injectors trying to figure out which set works the best.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's definitely important to use quality parts, name brand stuff, and stuff that you get good customer support with.
That's the biggest thing I tell people is you can go online, hit add to cart, pay for it, but there's a lot of companies that you can't call on a Friday at 2 p.m. and say, hey, this came in and this is wrong. What can we do to fix it? Or, hey, because people do make mistakes. It happens. Or you can say, hey, look, I was putting the oil drain back on and I dropped the bolt, can't find it. Can you tell me what size bolt it is? And there's people that'll tell you, they're like, oh, well, this is what it is. Here you go. Or they might message you on email on a Friday night at 6 p.m. It happens. There's companies out there where the customer support is still there. And that's what you got to find. If you can find the customer support and a quality product, then you're golden. Your money is well spent every time. The minute you buy something and there's no customer support backing it, it's not a quality product, then you should have opened the window of your truck and just thrown the money right out the window.
Yeah, exactly. I'm definitely a big believer in that. You are too. And customer support is probably the biggest thing to look for. So do you have a tip of the week for the listeners?
Tip of the week. So I was thinking about that. The biggest thing I see right now on Facebook is there's 2 tips. So one is if you're going to buy used parts, make sure you protect yourself because a lot of people are getting scammed on Facebook right now, especially in all the groups. If anybody's part of any groups on Facebook that are related to diesels, people are listing parts that are hard to find for lower prices, and you're not getting those parts. We see it often. Another thing is Before you go spending money, do some research. There's a lot of people out there that have already spent 2 to 3 times the amount that they should have. I know I'm one of them. I started out with a set of compound turbos that were good for daily driving. And of course, I never was going to make it a full drag truck at the beginning. Now that I have, I look back and go, well, I should have just bought this setup that I had at the beginning. I didn't need to buy 2 sets of turbos or 3 sets of an injectors kind of thing. Just do your research. You're gonna write something online and you're gonna get most of the time 50% of this answer and 50% of that answer, and of course you'll have a couple that are off the wall answers, but most of the time it's either or. It's just like, hey, what lift pump? There's gonna be 2 answers. There's gonna be, get a fast or get an air dog. There's gonna be the most thing. Just do your research before you spend money, because you don't want to just throw money down the drain. And I see it way too often. People comment, I bought this and it doesn't work, or it wasn't enough fueling for what I needed, kind of thing. Just do your research. After you do that, then go ahead and spend the money.
Yes, that is a very good point. I highly recommend doing that too. It's just doing research. It's the cheapest, best thing you can do is just doing research.
Yeah. Yep.
It don't cost you a dime to spend 30 minutes doing the research on a part.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, shoot, I bought head studs, and if I would have bought the head studs I have now, of course, the 625s, I would have never wasted the $400 to $500 I wasted at the beginning on cheaper head studs. I would have bought the right ones I needed, and of course, I'm glad, because I got them way before the shortage, because now there's a huge shortage for 625s. So it's like you said, do the research. Don't waste the money.
Yeah. So how can people find you? You're on Facebook, Instagram, all that?
Yes. The biggest thing to get a hold of me or follow me and keep in touch with what we're doing and what's going on with the truck is it's Carter Racing, and it's Carter __ racing. Of course, the other ones were already taken, so that's what I was left with. Pictures of the truck. We got hats being made that say Carter Racing on them and with a leather patch. I got shirts that say Carter Racing with pictures of the truck on the back, stuff like that. Keep up to date with products that I'm running. If you have any questions, shoot me a message on there. I'm quick to respond as long as I'm not flying, and I can point you in the right direction, especially if you have a VP truck or just general knowledge that I can answer. I'm always there to help people and help you in the right direction for parts. I mean, like we just talked about, you've done it. You spent money on a turbo, and then you're like, oh, I really didn't need that turbo. Oops.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I appreciate having you on the podcast. Hopefully see you racing soon. And
yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity. And like I said, I'll see you soon, my buddy. And hopefully get you back out there racing with us, because it's not fun not seeing you out there, just seeing you pull up in your 4th gen. Kind of, no, I don't have a truck this year. Oh, come on, Kyle. Let's go, man.
yeah, I still parked next to you, though. I still came right up in there.
I know. Hey, and trust me, we already started planning. My wife got me a smoker for Father's Day, so be prepared. I think we're doing ribs this year at Diesel Truck Wars.
Nice. I'll definitely be there. I plan on having a truck out there, so sure we'll be side by side again.
Oh yeah, awesome, man. Well, I appreciate the opportunity, and I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
All right, see you, man.
Yeah. And that puts an end to this episode of Diesel. I messed that up. Just puts an ending to. Pause a second. All right, and that puts an ending to this episode of Blue Collar Racing Podcast. Until next time.